side. This is News 12 at 11.
More cities standing with Atlanta's mayor in the legal battle against the governor, but the bigger challenge might be finding a judge to hear the lawsuit. And local teachers standing up for what they believe, but would Aiken County school leaders side with them or with South Carolina's governor? But first tonight, at least 14 people in a hospital this evening after a mass shooting during a funeral in Chicago. Shots were fired just after 7:30 local time there. Police say all 14 victims are adults, many in critical or serious condition. It is still not clear if all the victims were attending the funeral. Officials have not announced a motive yet, but a person of interest is in custody there. Federal agents were already on their way to Chicago after a violent weekend where at least 70 people were shot. Locally tonight, the Aiken County Board of Education holding firm to their original plan to go back to school. Governor McMaster asked school leaders across the state to offer parents the option of sending their kids back to the classroom 5 days a week. But as Cindy Heiberger tells us, they heard plenty of opposition to that.
Tonight's Board of Education meeting, parents and teachers from the Aiken County Education Association protested outside, asking the board to maintain their hybrid learning plan. 33%. That's the total occupancy teachers and parents at this protest say they feel comfortable with when it comes to sending their kids back to school. And that's the capacity Aiken County Board of Education originally proposed back in early July.
I am so proud of the people that have worked on that plan and have heard from us.
A week later, on July 14th, the board revised those plans, giving parents the choice to do all online learning or to send their kids back to school 2 days a week with the building at 50% capacity.
I'm concerned for myself. I'm concerned for my family, for my friends, for my students, my colleagues. I'm concerned for the entire community, to be perfectly honest.
And then, even more concern when a day later, Governor Henry McMaster announced schools should solely do online learning or go back 5 days a week.
Our governor has come out and basically declared war on public education.
Aiken school leaders at this special called meeting say they'll let data drive their back-to-school decisions, not politics.
The decision that we made last Tuesday stands, that will start school on the 17th of August using the hybrid model.
Protesters also want to delay the back-to-school date to September 8th.
I'm afraid that if we open up our schools too soon, that we could turn Aiken into a hot spot before we know it.
The board voted that motion down, saying all decisions they make are in the best interest of the students and staff.
As a teacher, I am so excited to get back to teaching my kids. I cannot wait to change their lives, but I want to do it safely.
It's a delicate balancing act playing out in districts across the state. In Aiken, Cindy Heiberger on your side.
Again, they're going back to the original hybrid plan. Now, if parents choose to enroll their children in the all-virtual option, they have until midnight tomorrow to do that.
Well, we are much quieter tonight at upper 70s and low 80s. Everybody should be dropping down into the mid to low 70s by early tomorrow morning. Have a look at storm chances tomorrow afternoon and an update on the tropics in just a little bit.
Thanks, Riley. A bump in the road in the ongoing legal battle between Georgia Governor Brian Kemp and Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. A hearing today in the lawsuit Kemp filed against Bottoms had to be delayed after a second judge recused herself. As Richard Elliott reports, this feud is just now heating up.
It's very interesting that some people think that I'm like an anti-masker. That's not the case.
We spoke exclusively with Governor Brian Kemp just a few hours after not just one, but two Fulton County Superior Court judges recused themselves from hearing his lawsuit against Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. His lawsuit asks the court to stop the city from enforcing its mask mandate and its rollback to phase 1 of the city's reopening plan.
It's about pulling back on the reopening plans and hurting small businesses and trying to revive our economy during these tough times, but still having a strong message in our fight against COVID-19.
But now a group of Georgia cities is getting involved too. The Georgia Municipal Association filed a brief supporting the city of Atlanta in the legal fight. They don't believe Kemp has the legal authority to stop cities from issuing things like mask mandates. Quote, Governor Kemp has attempted to usurp local control and home rule authority by using emergency powers which do not exist in the Georgia Constitution or statutory law. WSB legal analyst Esther Panich says the GMA believes cities have the legal authority to require mask wearing, especially because the governor has toured the state promoting mask use.
The governor issued the executive order, and then he's been promoting the wearing of masks. And the municipalities were saying, we agree that the wearing of masks is good. It's so good and it's so effective, we're going to require our residents to do so.
And the city of Atlanta says their mask mandate and their COVID-19 rollbacks were always just recommendations. They say they never intended to enforce them, so they believe the lawsuit does not have merit. Closer to home, another night of protesting at the Meriwether Monument in North Augusta. Not a very big turnout, but these activists have been showing up for days demanding the city take down the monument to the one white man who died in the... Across the two-state, cases continue rising. In Georgia, 3,400 new cases today. 78 more people have died. South Carolina reporting 1,800 new cases, including new cases in Aiken, Bamberg, and Edgefield counties. 56 more people have died. Hospitals across the two-state dealing with PPE shortages now, but as Abby O'Brien explains, a new tool is working to bridge the gap.
Large hospitals use a lot of equipment to keep staff protected during this pandemic. But smaller healthcare providers like dentists need PPE as well. Laura Hewitt with the South Carolina Hospital Association said PPE shortages started in our state around March.
And all of their typical sources for trying to get PPE and other supplies were disrupted pretty significantly.
Now they have a new tool called PPE Exchange.
We really saw an opportunity to use some technology to make some impact.
JT Garwood is one of the co-founders of the site.
We saw our communities that were in need and they weren't getting access to PPE at a fast enough rate. We saw rampant fraud. We saw price gouging.
It works almost like Amazon for PPE, where healthcare providers know they're getting quality protective gear.
The companies have all been vetted, and so all of their FDA and NIOSH credentials are posted there.
While larger hospitals tend to have multiple PPE sources,
it's the smaller hospitals, and it's these independent dentists and eye practitioners and orthodontists and places like that, and they have such low volumes that they've really had struggles.
Right now, Hewitt says the most needed items in South Carolina are lab supplies, gloves, shoe covers, and cleaning supplies.
The supply chains for hospitals is under more strain than ever before.
While this tool is needed for PPE, there is another critical shortage in the fight against COVID-19.
We have a severe shortage of staffing.
The PPE Exchange is expanding into other states now, so it might not be long until we can put it to work here in Augusta as well.
Hey, we got our weather.